Like damn, she wanna afford to touch me. I say I want it, and she got it.
What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. Let's get into AEW Dynamite from August the 21st, 2024, an OK show. Since All In is this Sunday, we will go over the predictions for All In. So we kicked the show off. It was the contract signing for the TBS Championship involving Mercedes Mone and Britt Baker. So Mercedes, she gets on the mic and she promises that when she beats Britt Baker at All In, everyone will know that Britt Baker is in the past and Mercedes is the future. So Britt Baker gets on the mic and she responds, and she reminds Mercedes that when she came in to AEW last year at All In, she was hobbling on crutches. And she also said before there was a CEO, there was a DMD. So Mercedes begins to mock Britt Baker. She also says that Britt Baker doesn't have the guts to win this match at Wembley, promising the DMD will not beat Mercedes at All In. So Britt Baker begins to respond by addressing the legacy of Mercedes, saying that she walked so Britt Baker could run as one of the first females in the company, where Mercedes Moné is sitting right now. Britt Baker then says that she is one of one, while Mercedes is one of four. Was one of four. So this is great, really good stuff there, interesting. Then Britt Baker says that Kamille's getting on her nerves. She calls her a bitch, and she slams her head on the contract signing table. She then does a crossbody off the table, taking out both Mercedes and Kamille. And that was the end of the segment. So this is fine. It makes sense. And she stood tall with the TBS Championship. So, okay stuff here. But anyone who has common sense can see and know that Britt Baker no longer wants to be in AEW. She's totally checked out. 1,000% she's totally checked out. She does not care. She does not want to be there. She knows that she's going to lose to Mercedes on Sunday, and she just don't give a damn. So I see where she's coming from. I really do. So whenever her contract is up, she could try her hand at WWE again, or she can go to TNA, or she can do the Indies, or she can just take time off for a while. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on. So Renee Paquette, she's backstage with Chris Jericho, who's talking about his match against Tommy Billington, Dynamite Kid. Jericho runs down the fact that Tommy is using the Dynamite Kid moniker, claiming he doesn't have the right to use that name, before stating Billington isn't as good as the learning tree will prove that tonight. With that, Jericho walks off. So this leads us into our first match of the night. Chris Jericho defeats Tommy Billington. So the match was okay, I guess. Jericho gave him a little bit of time. Makes sense. But Billington is very green. He's not as jacked as his uncle was. And he needs some work. He's very green. It seems like he's been wrestling for maybe no more than, at best, 5 years. At the bare minimum, probably 3. But this is just Jericho doing a favor to an old friend and whatnot. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense. This is fine. Post-match, Jericho gets on the mic. He runs down a Hook. He says that if he were here, he'd rip him branch by branch. So Hook then comes out, and then he eats a choke slam from Big Bill. I am so ready for Hook to get the fuck out of AEW. I am. He needs it. It is time for Hook to leave AEW. He needs to be in NXT around some of his own peers. Like, I'm serious. This makes zero sense. I don't give a single fuck about the FTW Championship. I just don't care about it. It's a waste of time. Who cares? Moving on. So, Toni Storm defeats Saraya to retain her AEW Women's Championship. Post-match, Mariah May, she comes out. She hits Toni Storm with the shoe. She kisses Toni Storm, and she celebrates, and that was it. So, Saraya is basically on her way out. She won the AEW Women's Championship last year. This year, she didn't. It's time for Saraya to go and pack her bags. There's no point in her going to AEW. Oh, my bad. To WWE, because they can't use her. Same thing with TNA. She is damaged goods. She can barely wrestle. She cannot wrestle. It's no longer there. And she's just a former shell of herself that she used to be. It's not a fault of her own, but it's just it. It just is what it is. There's no point in her going to WWE. Just, pack her bags and leave. That's just what, rumors are saying. I know people are like, oh, well, she should go back to WWE. And do what? Do what? Do what in WWE? She can't be a producer. They've tried her in a manager role. I don't know what you can do with her. I don't. It's just best for Tony Khan and Saraya to part ways. That's just it. That's the only thing that makes perfect sense. And this match was terrible. It was not a good match at all. Terrible. No. Not good. No bueno. Moving on. So, the conglomeration, they talked to Renee Paquette about their upcoming match against the Undisputed Kingdom at Collision. I don't really care about this shit. Moving on. So, Will Ospreay, he comes out. He gets on the mic. Him and MJF, they have a long face-to-face. Basically, the whole gist of it was that Will Ospreay said that he came in because Tony Khan knew that MJF was sneaking up the joint wrestling-wise, which is not even true. It's all bullshit. So MJF says that top brass in AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery begged him to come back when he was fully healed to clean up Ospreay's mess. So they continue to jog back and forth. It's not really all that important. Will mentions pro wrestling about, how MJF's a great entertainer and whatnot, but pro wrestling's not in his blood or whatever. And Will Ospreay continues to put himself over, saying that, he's been a star everywhere he's gone, from Europe to Japan and whatnot, even in America. And so MJF says that these people used to love him until Ospreay showed up and ruined everything. So MJF starts bringing up Ospreay's wife and child. So he talks about them, saying that Ospreay already has one child that's not his. The next child is going to be the same. It's not going to be his at all. It's going to be MJF's. So Will Ospreay then asked Tony Schiavone if he's talking to Tony Khan, and he asked him how much is the fine, and Schiavone says that it's going to be £100,000 And Ospreay says, sure, that's fine. So they have a little brawl scene real quick. MJF is able to get the upper hand. He uses the Dynamite ring to bust open Will Ospreay, and then he hits the Brainbuster. And that was it. So it is what it is. And he also teased doing the Tiger Driver, but Christopher Daniels and other AEW officials got involved to stop MJF. This is fine, but my only problem with this shit, it was too damn long. It made no sense. This is just way too long. They could have truncated all this to about maybe 5 minutes. This felt like 10 minutes to 15 minutes, and it just went on forever. And they didn't really say much of anything, because I'm not really invested in this match. Why? Because dumbass Tony Khan booked this match basically a month ago and gave it away for free on national television, and you don't do that. So that's why I don't care about it. I could care less about it. Nope, not a good look, not a good move. Moving on. So we go backstage. Hangman Adam Page, he states that he's in the Casino Gauntlet match at All In. So Evil Uno, he shows up. He promotes Hangman to ask him if he know who else is in the match. Evil Uno says that he just talked to Christopher Daniels and he's going to be in the Gauntlet. So Hangman Page then attacked Evil Uno. He lays him out, and he says that he'll go through everyone in the match to get his shot at Swerve Strickland. Okay, that's fine. Who cares? Moving on. So Claudio Castagnoli and Kazuchika Okada, they went to a time limit draw for the AEW Continental Championship. It was 20 minutes. The match was okay, I guess. It could have been better. I really wasn't all that invested in this. I felt like it just didn't seem to matter. And I don't know. It's just not as important. So post-match, the Elite, they come down. That being Jack Perry and the Young Bucks, they come down. So they tell Claudio that he can only wrestle for 20 minutes, and that was it. No more. It's on the contract. They give Claudio some kudos, but tell him to leave the ring before they physically remove him and kick his ass. So then this leads us into Darby Allin and FTR versus the Elite. Darby Allin and FTR, they defeat the Elite. Who cares? Waste of fucking time. So, the Acclaim, they come out next. There's no rap. So Matt Caster says that they're going to win the tag team titles at All In. And they're going to fight extremely hard at Wembley, because everybody loves the Acclaim. So who really cares? Not that important. I don't give a shit about this. Moving on. So Renee Paquette, she's trying to get a interview with Will Ospreay after the beatdown from MJF early on in the night. So Will Ospreay is still bloody as Danielson steps in. And he tells Ospreay to do it. And just go ahead and do it. So that's fine. So we all know that Ospreay is going to use the Tiger Driver at Wembley. Do I care? No, I don't give a shit. Continuing right along. Final segment. So Nigel McGuinness, he brings out Danielson and Swerve. So Swerve comes out. He says that he's beaten a bunch of guys. He's beaten, Hangman Page, Jay White, Samoa Joe, Claudio Castagnoli, Christian Cage, and Will Ospreay. Swerve promises to dissect Bryan Danielson in that ring, doing so purposely, menacingly, and scientifically. So, Swerve then says that if Bryan gets that itch to wrestle, whether it be in Mexico or whatever, to go under another persona to hide and get that itch to wrestle, Swerve will be there to stop him. And maybe Bryan will have a chat with his family to wrestle again to get that itch. Swerve says he'll be there. So Danielson comes out. He then does the Busaiku knee, takes out Swerve, and then Swerve is able to escape up the ramp. Danielson gets on the mic, and he says when he performs for everyone watching at home and for his family, Swerve will have to do more than cripple Danielson. He'll have to nearly kill him because Bryan Danielson will leave his fucking soul in this ring. One question must be asked: will Bryan Danielson beat Swerve for the AEW Championship? And then the crowd does the yes, and that is it. That's AEW Dynamite. So this is fine. It makes sense. I got a feeling that Danielson's not going to retire. It just doesn't feel like he's going to retire. I like Swerve. I'm a fan of Swerve. I really am. But Swerve is not going to be Bryan Danielson's last opponent. It's not going to happen. No. Nope. All right, let's get into the predictions. So, All In is taking place on Sunday, August 25th at Wembley Stadium. The stadium seats, I believe it's 90K. They're going to probably get, 50K. They're probably going to get out of that 50K to show up probably between 40K and maybe 45K, which is solid. So there's no point of getting, mad or upset if you can. If a promotion can bring out that crowd, cool. More power to them. Come on, this is great. So we have 10 matches on the card. There'll probably be more added come either Rampage or Collision. But as of right now, we have 10. And most of these matches, I'm looking at the card now, just seem like matches that would take place on Collision or Dynamite. Let's just be honest. So, Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. Ugh. So whoever wins gets to choose the stipulation between Chris Statlander and Nightingale at All In. That's cool. I'm going to say that Nightingale and Ishii win. Who cares? Moving on. Thomas Toni Storm versus the Glamour, Mariah May, for the AEW Women's Championship. Mariah May is going to win. It makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't she win? She's in her hometown. Her hometown of London. Why wouldn't she win? Moving on. Jack Perry versus Darby Allin for the first time ever. Coffee match for the AEW TNT Championship. Jack Perry will win. It seems like from rumors going around the rumor mill that Darby is slated to be world champion sometime this year or sometime next year. Okay, cool, I guess. Moving on. Chris Jericho versus Hook. Last chance match for the FTW Championship. Who cares about this? Fuck this shit. I'm going to go with Jericho winning. Who cares? Another match I don't care about. It's a 3-way for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Young Bucks, FTR, and The Acclaim. My guess is that the Young Bucks will retain. I don't give a shit about any of this. Moving on. We're going to have a 4-way ladder match. What the fuck? How dumb is that? It's going to involve the Patriarchy, which is Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne, versus the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson and Colton and Austin Gunn, versus the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. versus Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. What the fuck? When did this shit happen? What the hell? Huh? This shit must have happened either on Collision or Rampage. I don't get this. And we all know that Malachi Black is basically 1 foot out the door with AEW. He don't care. He's just doing this shit so he won't get fined and let go. Mercedes Mone versus Britt Baker, DMD, for the AEW TBS Championship. Mercedes Mone, I think this is going to be a 3-match feud. So I don't think that this is going to be a one and done and Britt's going to go silently into the night. That's not going to happen. I think that Mercedes will win the first one, Britt will win the second one, and overall Mercedes will win the feud. So that's the way I see it. You have to continue this thing past All In. Nobody really is on Mercedes level. This is the biggest match you could do for the TBS Championship, really. You can't do it with Deonna Purrazzo or Thunder Rosa, or even who else? Julia Hart and the rest of them. All that just seems like stuff that you would do on Collision or Dynamite. So yeah. The Casino Battle Royal, the winner gets the future AEW World Championship. This is the type of one we'll see the debut of Ricochet, and if Ricochet shows up, Ricochet needs to win this. It's self-explanatory. You can still run stuff back with Swerve. Moving on. This leads us to Will Ospreay and MJF for the AEW American Championship. Will Ospreay's going to win, obviously. Tiger Driver 91, who gives a fuck. And the main event of the evening, Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. Title versus career for the AEW World Championship. Who wins this? I think that Danielson wins this, and he goes on maybe a month to 3-month run as champion, and then he loses that to either Hangman Page or Darby Allin sometime this year. So that's my pick. So those are my predictions. Danielson to become the new AEW champion. The Young Bucks, they're going to retain their tag titles. The Bang Bang Gang will probably win the Fatal 4-Way ladder match. Chris Jericho will defeat Hook. Ricochet will win the Casino Gauntlet. Mercedes will win and retain the TBS Championship. Jack Perry will defeat Darby Allin. Ospreay will defeat MJF. Mariah May will defeat Thomas Tony Storm. And Will Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii will defeat Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. So those are my predictions. What did you guys think of Dynamite? What are you guys' predictions for All In? And hopefully All In should be fun. All In will be on my birthday. So wish your boy a happy birthday. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.